How are you, Mitch?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm a little foggy myself. I ended up going to a Mexican restaurant last night and had a lot of mezcal.
Had a lot of margaritas.
Yeah, mezcal old fashions.
What's a mezcal old fashioned?
You give me sushi, I'll give you a mezcal old fashioned.
What's the difference between that and a normal old fashioned?
It's mezcal.
I don't even know what that's short for. Something
Mezcal
California?
it's like a smoky tequila.
Oh.
It's like an aged, like barrel aged tequila.
Oh yeah.
So
You just light some wood on fire and put the glass
I
over
literally,
it?
my drink was, there was like smoke in my drink last
Hell
night.
yeah. That's
Have we started?
hell yeah. That's good. I like it.
Welcome.
Welcome to Vancouver. When was the last time you were over here?
I've never been here before.
You've never been to Vancouver before?
I've never been to Vancouver.
God damn.
I think I should do a formal introduction. First of all, 604 Records presents Versus. I'm Wendy Boomer. I'm like the latest hire basically at the label and have been working closely with you. And yet we have not sat this close to each other in several months.
It's true.
And so we talk a lot.
We do.
But
A
this
lot
is
of
nice.
emails. Yeah, this is great. I'm Mitch Zorn. I am signed to 604 Records. I am a country singer most days.
Most days.
Yeah.
Well,
Today I'm a country singer.
we can get into that with like what else obviously you do. But yeah, I mean, first of all, this is my first time in Vancouver.
That's
and
crazy to me.
I have, my best friend lives in Oregon, so if I go to the West Coast, it's always to Oregon.
Oh yeah.
So I feel like I'm home already.
Yeah.
Like this feels good.
Coastal.
Yeah. Like I'm just like, it feels like Portland.
Yeah.
But-
Oregon's great. I love Oregon.
Yeah.
I like it better. I did a trip a couple of years ago. I drove from California up to Oregon and then over to Saskatchewan, and I liked the Oregon coast a lot better than the California coast. It was just so much fun.
It's wild, right? Like
Yeah,
it's this
it's so
thing that
nice.
if you haven't done it, it's so hard to explain. But if you have done it, everybody's like, you know what I mean.
You get it.
Yeah. It's a pretty awesome drive.
Yeah, it's dope.
But yeah, it was worth the flight to come here and hang out with you and see the studios and everything too, because I'm coming from Ottawa. So
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here and happy to hang out and just, I guess, let people, know your story a little bit more. I know a bit of it, but for anybody who doesn't, like, I guess, how did you start in country music? Like, was this something that you always wanted to do, or did you start in more folk or songwriting? Like, where did it kind of begin?
Yeah, I think songwriting, I don't know. I haven't really stuck to any genre in my life until the last couple of years, but like I always tell people, I grew up in a really musical family, and so music wasn't like something I jumped into to try to become a singer or try to do it professionally. It was always around. There was always guitars around. My dad, loved all the old songwriters like Jackson Browne and Jim Croce and all those guys, the Eagles. But then on my mom's side, she listened to a lot of like old 90s, 2000s country. So I was always kind of on the TV, CMT and all that. So it was always something I did. I always just played guitar and sang, but I didn't really think about it until I graduated. And then I was like, I don't really want to work for the rest of my life. So I might as well give it a shot. I think I can do it. And then, I moved down to Nashville, and that's kind of, I was there for 4 or 5 years, and it's kind of full circle now, just coming back here and signing with a label. And it's like 10, 12 years in the making, I think. So
Yeah. So, okay, 4 or 5 years in Nashville.
Yeah.
What was that like? And was that for you to kind of try and break through, or was that for you to just kind of be around more songwriters in that Music City environment?
Yeah, that's a really, really good question, because I wasn't trying to like sell myself or sell my art. Or like even, I wasn't even thinking about it from like a sign a label or, do something in the business. I just like loved music so much that I just wanted to learn and be around people that write these kind of songs that I've listened to my whole life, and get in the studios with the musicians that put all the music together that I love, that I listen to. So it was kind of more just like an exploration in the things I love to do. It wasn't really a thing. Like I wasn't trying too hard, I guess.
Did you feel like you came back like with your suitcase full of some new tools though, like when you moved back kind of thing?
Yeah. Like I always tell people I worked on the road for the longest time as an electrician. So I was just kind of town to town, camp to camp. But when I was living in those camps and like remote jobs, I would, study songwriting and like my favorite songwriters and books on songwriting and books on putting words together. And, even just like going through thesauruses and dictionaries and like I just studied like language and what people say in songs. And so I kind of over the years just kind of built a background, I guess, in how to put words together. And Nashville was, that's obviously the best country songwriters in the world. So that was a good learning experience down there for sure.
It's funny that you studied like a thesaurus because you are a man of many words in your songwriting, but in person, or at least through our text form, you're very much hell yeah, yeah, let's go.
Yeah. Right. I am. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I always say like, I don't know if I got into the right business because I'm like a very introverted person, I think, in my day to day, but like I just play a different character when it's time. And, when you get on stage, you kind of got to be upbeat and excited. And yeah, it's kind of just a character I've learned to foster over the years. But
I think a lot of artists would say that though too.
Yeah.
And then, but again, like you're super expressive in your songwriting. And I find it really interesting because I just found this out last week by working with you. I was like, wait, I need some credits for writing.
Yeah.
And you're like, just me. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like, and then I was like, okay, I've now like kind of locked into your superpower. I already was a fan, obviously, but I was like, that's kind of unheard of in this day.
Yeah.
Honestly, that you are solo writing these songs.
Yeah. Well, like, I mean, the Nashville thing or the country music thing is like co-writing, right? Like you get 3 or 4 writers on a track and, I mean, some of the best songs in the world have been written that way, and I'm not against it by any means, but it's just like, I don't know. For me personally, I just like, I need to be able to, like, I'll spend like 5 or 6 hours writing a song, you know what I mean? And like, I know people do that in the co-writing world, but I need time to just sit there in like silence for, even if it's an hour or two, and like, just kind of figure out my thoughts and figure out how I would say things and figure out like, and for me, a big thing is when I'm going to record and perform a song, like I have to believe in the words that I'm saying. And, I don't know. It's just such a weird dynamic. I have a hard time getting there in the co-writing world, like emotionally or getting attached to the song. But then every once in a while at the same time, I will co-write and you'll get on a level with people that are similar minded and it'll just work. And like, I mean, my first single Home was a co-write and, it just kind of works. Sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it does. So.
Is there anybody that, like in a dream world, that if you could co-write, you're like, that's the person I'd love to?
Yeah, I think like you want to, the guys that I would like to write with don't do co-writing, like Jason Isbell and Zach Bryan and, like all the old time writers. But obviously there's guys in the modern country world that I would love to write with. I mean, you get into the songs that Morgan Wallen's been able to cut over the years. It's like the group of people that are putting those songs together, some of the best songwriters in the world, like, Hardy and Charlie Handsome and Earn
Steven
and all
Wilson
those.
Jr.
Yeah, Steven Wilson Jr.
We're both a little obsessed with Steven right now.
Yeah. He's great. No, it's just, I mean, I'd try anything, you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's cool. But I think it's really great that we have this first album, like full album coming out, and majority of it is solo rights. And I think it's impressive. And it's not just like, oh, you can do that. Like they're impressive songs.
Thanks.
And they vary and they like, you know what I mean? So
yeah, I'm not writing the same song over and over again. I'm trying not to, but
how do you?
Well, it's funny, like, and that's the thing is like, I wrote dozens of songs that sound pretty similar, but like when you start breaking it down into what you're going to record for an album, it's like, there's not probably 100 songs that got boiled down to 10, you know what I mean?
Right.
There's probably a lot of similar tracks, but I just kind of, because you do have to kind of think about it as like a body of work, even though everyone's attention span's so short these days. There's seldom do you listen to albums. I don't even listen to albums very much anymore. It's mostly playlists, but when you think of like a body of work, 1 to 14 songs or whatever, it's like you kind of got to do something with it, tell a story in some way.
I wanted to go back to you saying like, you were raised in like a musical household and everything. You've kind of played with everything. I love asking this question.
Yeah.
Were you ever in a high school band? Did you have a rock band or anything?
No, not really. I always kind of dreamed of it, like the old school kind of put a band together and play in the garage with your buddies kind of thing. I never really did that. I was kind of a solo songwriter guy.
Shocker.
But, yeah.
Okay. So then what about your first?
Actually,
okay.
Yeah, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that. I wasn't like that in my high school with any like my friends, but I was in a band with my dad from the time I was like 9 or 10. He was doing that thing. And I just kind of sat in on their practices when I was 8 or 9 or 10 or whatever. And then Dad was like, if you get good enough and you practice your parts, you can come play on stage with us. And then, so I just started practicing guitar a lot. And then, yeah, they'd have me out play weddings and play music in the park and shit like that. So that was a big part of it.
Do you remember your first gig?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was music in the park. I was like 8 years old and I put my guitar down and I was just front manning it. And like I was running out to the front and like high-fiving all the girls that were there watching. And I was like, I mean, I'm a little kid, right? But I remember singing Copperhead Road but Dad didn't give me the verses or the chorus. He just gave me the Copperhead Road at the end part. So I was just running around singing Copperhead Road over and over again. But yeah, it was cool.
Oh, memories.
Yeah, dreams.
And all the girls lined up after and wanted your autograph. And
in my memories, they did. Yeah, I'd like to think so. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, great. And then, I mean, you've played obviously shows throughout your career, and kind of growing up in BC, you played with your dad, but played solo shows. Yeah.
I was playing in high school and like playing our assemblies and like that. You know what I mean? They would let me into the bars and kind of open up for my dad's band when I was like 15, 16. So they kicked me out right after, but they'd let me in, play some songs. Yeah. Is there a bucket list place in BC or Vancouver area that you want to perform at? I mean, I've played right now I'd love to play the Commodore. If I could headline the Commodore at some point, that'd be pretty sweet. Headlining places I've already played is kind of the goal. I've played Hollywood Theater, I've played, the Redbirds and the Revelries in Kelowna. Headline sold out shows would be ideal. Okay, we're getting there. Yeah, we're getting there. We're on our way. You're supporting a tour coming up in Ontario, which of course I'm excited about because I get to see you in my home province. Yeah. Opening up, honestly, it also sounds like a really cool kind of like songwriter circle setting along with Allison Daniels, and touring with Dylan James. Yeah, that's super exciting. Yeah, so that's coming up at the end of Jan. Yeah. So little plug there for that. Everybody get your tickets and check that out. And I just think it's the three of you are three totally different styles too. So this is a really good ticket. Totally. I agree. Yeah. Allison Daniels got such a good voice and she's such a talented songwriter. I'm so excited to play with her. And then Dylan James obviously is, big time in our world, bit of more of a rock guy. So I'm excited to hear his tunes. I've been listening to his a lot. So it'll be good. Yeah. I'm excited. So, but I have to tease you a little bit. Mm-hmm. Because it's new to me also. And these little things excite me. Yeah. Is somebody asking you for your rider. And I'm like, we got to put together a rider. It's weird for me too. It's like, what's your rider? What do you need in your room? And I'm like, I don't know, man. Some water. Yeah. That's it. That's all. Tell the people what the rider said. There were two things. Yeah. Water and tea. That was it. Water and herbal tea. I mean, what am I supposed to ask for? Yeah, you can put weed on there. That's legal. You can put. You could put. I can't be smoking weed before or after my shows anyway. But I'm proud of you. I wait till I get home for that. Okay. I mean, then a charcuterie board. Yeah, I guess salad. Yeah. I don't know. I've never been asked that question before. I didn't really know. And then the agents were like, yeah, can you put it in a document? And I'm just like, you want me to just write down tea and water in a Word document and send it over to you? I can just tell you right now what I want. Just give me some water. And that's what you did. He put it in a Word document. It said, Mitch Zorn, rider, tea, water. And I love you for that. Ridiculous. No, it's great. I mean, you're so low maintenance, which is awesome. Yeah. And you're thinking about your throat and your vocals. Right. So Mama's proud. Care about was,
Oh, but
Health
I did.
and wellness.
I laughed really hard because I was in the office here and I was talking to some other people. I was like, oh yeah, what do people put on riders like before you responded?
Yeah.
And there were some really ridiculous things.
I need like 12 peanut M&Ms.
Exactly.
And 2 crunchy spicy salmon sushi rolls specifically from this place at this time.
And the peanut M&Ms, no red ones.
Yeah,
like,
that's
yeah,
right.
like,
That's
right? Like something like that. And you're like, tea and water would be great.
It ain't that serious, I don't think.
I love it. Anyway, if you change your mind and all of a sudden you want some Lay's chips on there or something, you're allowed.
We'll
I'm just
see.
putting it out
After
there.
a couple more years, maybe my ego will be pumped up enough that I'll need something specific, but I'm good. I'm good.
I wanted to go back again to songwriting really quick because you've clearly been writing for so long and you do so much of it solo. And also, sorry, subtopic, you do other work outside of songwriting at the moment. You're working hard. So
I'm all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure you write a lot in your tractors or like songs come to mind while you're doing the mundane day to day.
Yeah.
But do you have a memory of like the weirdest places songs come to you and you're like, crap, I got to get this down?
Yeah. One of the weird ones for me was so my dad got married to his high school sweetheart last summer. And we were just like at the property setting up tables and chairs and all the decorations and like that. And I was just kind of humming along and my stepmom's guitar was just sitting in the middle of the room and I picked it up just to move it because we were putting a bunch of away and I just like played a chord and then I got a melody just fell into my head. Like I wasn't even thinking about it. I was like, oh, I think I need to go write this song. Just 20 minutes. I wrote a song about them and then played it at the reception that night. And now it's on the album.
Which one is it?
Your Last Name.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know this story.
Yeah. So I wrote that song in like literally in like 12 minutes. It was insane. It just fell out of the sky. Like you talk about like, I always bring up Paul McCartney, always talking about writing yesterday in his sleep. And like, I've never really believed in that. It was always just like Bob Dylan talking about songs just fell out of the sky. I'm like,
whatever.
Yeah, whatever. But that one literally, I like played a chord, was like, oh, there's a melody in my head, sat down, 20 minutes later, it was done. And I love it. I love the song and my family loves it. So it was
did it evolve much or did it stay the same?
Exact same as I wrote it the first 12 minutes.
Okay, Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Super weird. Yeah. I don't think it's as good as that, but
well,
I like to think so.
But it's also so special. Like to your family, like they're never going to forget that.
And that's kind of what I think, like it's kind of happened to me before where I'm writing and it's usually when I'm like attached to it in some way or connected to it in some way that it just kind of, the words just kind of show up and they just come out. And that one was like, obviously I'd known his wife now at the time forever. Like she's been in our lives for a long time and I've known them forever. So yeah, it was nice to see them kind of get together and start to pursue their life together. And yeah, so it just meant something to me and it's easy to write when something means something to you, I think. I
have a feeling it's probably like your introvert thing too, right? You're like, this is way easier for me to do this than a speech.
100%. Like even like I always talk about like banter and telling stories on stage and I'm getting a little better with this kind of like talking because it's getting a little more comfortable. But yeah, I'm so bad at that coming up with on my feet. So it's like, yeah, any chance I got to put my words down and have them pre-recorded and pre-rehearsed them is good.
That's just wild that you did it in one day and also had the confidence to do it because that would be my thing. I'd be like, this is really special, but maybe I'll play it for you later.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think like it's a weird thing with songwriting. Like you want to sound clever and you want to put out words that are fresh and connect to people. But at the same time, if you're just writing like what something means to you, it usually doesn't need much work. It usually doesn't need much editing. It's just off the cuff and it's so personal and it's so raw, I guess would be the word. But yeah, it's just easier that way. Yeah. So like there are things I could probably change in that song, but I'm not gonna. It's just like, and the story is exactly what the story is. Yeah. You're attached to it in that moment. Yeah. Well, exactly. I got to go back and listen to it now because that makes it even better. I was already a fan, obviously, but like, yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Is there a song off this album that
hasn't been released yet that you're just like, you just can't wait for people to hear?
My next single.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back to You. I think it's, I don't want to say it's my best song I've ever written, but it's like definitely the most unique, like complete, different genres song I've ever written. Like there's nothing I've heard that's like it, I think. And not trying to say that as a selling point, but it's just interesting to me how some melodies fall into your head and words. And that one, like I was in Alberta driving home to a camp after work one day, and it just kind of fell out of the sky again, one of those songs. So I'm excited.
Yeah. Well, I know what you mean too. I think it just kind of stands out on the, like when in the body of work again, it's one that you're like, ooh, this is a little different.
A little weird. Yeah.
And anybody that we've played it for has been like, I like that.
Yeah.
Like that one's special.
Yeah.
And then what's cool, I don't know, by the time this podcast airs, maybe it still won't have been released yet, but we're doing something else really cool with the song.
Yeah.
And I like that too, just kind of like stripping it down and doing this more kind of live acoustic-y
piano driven thing.
Because somebody sent me a video of you just walking into a bar and starting to play this song on piano out of nowhere. And they were like, have you seen this? And I was like, no. And I think it was like my first week starting working with 604. And I was like, we're doing that.
Yeah, literally.
That was like this brave moment.
Yeah, the Steve Cody video. Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't know. We were just out for lunch and there was a piano in the room. So I was like, I don't know. That song's just hit so hard on that slow piano. And there's only 2 chords. Like it's just the same 2 chords for 4 minutes straight. Beautiful. But I love it.
Yeah.
It's so chill. I'm hoping we're going to do it that way tomorrow, I hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited. And that's what's cool too, is that like a song can like have it can breathe life into it in 2 different kind of ways too. Like you can just, So anyway, we could gush about this. I guess that's the point of a podcast, but I'm also like, we could go on and on and on about the song because it's all that's in our heads right now.
Yeah, totally.
But I'm really excited about it.
Yeah.
Well, it's been awesome chatting with you.
Yeah, you as well.
And we'll
Welcome
chat a lot more.
City.
Thank you. Yeah. I need to get some sushi. I've not had any sushi yet.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it for sure.
So we'll get that in.
It's just down the road. So.
Perfect. But also, really looking forward to an upcoming album. And of course, everybody can find you through social media at Mitch Zorn. Yeah. And I would recommend people also make sure that they watch out for this tour, especially if anybody in Ontario is listening. End of Jan with Dylan James.
Yeah, first time headed east.
Allison Daniels. Yeah. Your first time in my neck of the woods?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And your first time in our neck of the woods.
Well, then we'll get you some shawarma when you come.
Yeah.
Okay. We got this figured out.